20 unreal places to visit. We like to imagine fantasy worlds from our favorite books and movies, but if you just take a second to look, you'll find there's plenty of amazingly unreal places that already exist on Earth. The glowing beach. Laying out on the beach at night sounds relaxing, especially if you traveled all the way to the Maldives to do so. We should also add that you wouldn't need a torch or flashlight to go there on your own either, because the glowing beach will light it all up for you. Bioluminescence is a common occurrence on the shores of a few places, most notably in the Maldives on Vadu Island. The lights are the result of ostracod crustaceans that emit light. Even if the water wasn't crystal clear like it is on this resort island, you probably would still be able to see the water glowing. The ancient Lake Baikal. In the mountainous region of Siberia near the boundary shared with Mongolia sits the famous and huge Lake Baikal. It spans over an area of 12,248 square miles, or 31,722 meters squared, with a depth of 5,387 feet, or 1,642 meters. Lake Baikal is called Baikal Nur in Mongolian, which translates to mean nature lake. This rift lake formed long ago and was made a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1996. There are many features to this lake, probably due to its size and scope. The water here is exceptionally clear. For a place located in Siberia, you probably wouldn't expect a sandy beach, but there is one. The Dark Hedges of Ireland. The name sounds like a book or even a dark fantasy movie, but it's the real name for an avenue of beech trees in Northern Ireland. You might have heard of it before since it's become such a huge tourist attraction, and it's a really great place for a photo op. It can be found on the Brega Road in County Antrim, consisting of over 150 beech trees. They were planted there when James Stewart built a new house called Grace Hill House in 1775. In 2004, a tree preservation order was placed so that the dark hedges would be maintained and protected. Magical mountains in Patagonia. Over 200,000 people visit the Torres del Paine National Park every year. This national park is located in southern Chilean Patagonia. It can be found between the Patagonian steppes and the subpolar forests of the Magallanes region. The entire area spans to 280 acres, where you'll find lakes, rivers, glaciers, and mountains, like these known as the Paine Horns. Another big drawing point are the Towers of Paine, which look like something straight out of a Lord of the Rings movie. Scientists love Torres del Paine too, with the glaciers a big indicator of what happened in the last glacial age. Yellowstone's famous spring. If you live in America, then you and your family have probably been to Yellowstone National Park at least once, since it's a quintessential place to take a road trip to. There's lots to see at Yellowstone, including the largest hot spring in all of the United States, as well as the third largest in the world, the Grand Prismatic Spring. It measures to 370 feet or 110 meters in diameter, and about 160 feet or 15 meters deep. This is no relaxing hot spring you'd go to for vacation. Swimming in it is not permitted, as it can get as hot as 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Africa's Alkaline Lake. Look, alkaline lakes are no joke. Lake Natron in Tanzania has been known to petrify animals without the animals knowing any better. Upon contact with the environment of this lake, the animals get calcified, frozen in positions of whatever they were doing last, essentially preserved. This salt and soda lake can be found in the northern area of Tanzania known as the Arusha region. At the edge of the lake, there are freshwater wetlands and salt marshes, which are able to sustain a lot of flora. Lake Natron spans to 14 miles or 22 kilometers wide and 35 miles or 57 kilometers long. Mount Rinjani, an active volcano. On the island of Lombok in Indonesia sits an active volcano that has become a well-frequented spot for tourists from all over. Yep, an active volcano. One that experienced an earthquake this past July. With all the tourists up there, it was definitely a scare. Mount Rinjani stands at an elevation of 12,224 feet, or 3,726 meters. One of its most favorited features is the mountains that surround the volcano, with a part of the sea encircling it as well. It's part of some of the most explosive volcanoes in the world, just saying. Peruvian Desert Oasis. In the deserts of southwestern Peru sits a glowing oasis known as the village of Hakachina. Tens of thousands of people visit the oasis surrounded by sand dunes in South America. A popular pastime is riding on dune buggies, of course. It's been said that the waters have healing properties, with many bathing in the mud to relieve them of conditions such as rheumatism, bronchitis, and arthritis, just to name a few. There's even a legend of a woman living as a mermaid in the oasis. The Pinkwater Lake. Most lakes are supposed to be blue. Sometimes when we don't take care of them, they're brown. You hardly ever see them looking pink though. There's a handful of pinkwater lakes in the world, with one of them being Laguna Salada de Torrevieja in Valencia, Spain. People not only come here for the view and novelty, but also because the water is said to possess great therapeutic properties. Seems like a theme lately. However, you should know that it's pretty much forbidden to enter the water. Oh well. The Blue Lagoon. No, not that 80s movie with a young Brooke Shields. Instead, we're gonna discuss the geothermal spa in Iceland. Weird, right? You'd think it'd be in a tropical area. The waters here are said to be warm and rich with sulfur and silica. Such content has been said to heal people of conditions like psoriasis. You wouldn't think one of the most famous warm waters in the world would be located in a place called Iceland. The Blue Lagoon can be found in southwestern Iceland, surrounded by black sand with steam often rising from the lagoon itself. Stuck between two rocks. If you had the chance to stand on a boulder that's sitting between two cliffs with about 3,228 feet or 984 meters below you to the ground, would you? Lots of people would, apparently. Welcome to Bolten, located in the Rogaland County of Norway. The boulder measures to 5 cubic meters, the result of a glacial deposit that ended up wedged in this mountain's crevice. It seems really scary, but if you ever go to Norway to try it, know that you'll probably be waiting a long time for your turn. The ethereal Kwangsi. You might not hear a lot about Laos as a hotspot for vacations, but you should really check it out. It won't be as crowded as other more frequented countries in Southeast Asia. Plus, it's a culture you'll experience all to its own that you don't often see in the West. One of the best things to see in Laos are the famed Kwangsi Falls, about 18 miles or 29 kilometers away from Luang Prabang. The water flows down into different pools, with most open for visitors to swim in. White sand dunes. Sand usually comes in some sort of brown or beige color. So of course, if you're staring at a plain full of white sand, it's gonna look otherworldly. There's a lot of unique things to find on the island of Socotra in Yemen's Socotra archipelago, such as flora and fauna found exclusively on these small islands. Another thing you'll find are the fine white sands on their biggest island. The sacred cenote. Near Chichen Itza is another famous landmark, a natural cenote found in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. It's open to the public for swimming, though the Iquil cenote is considered sacred to the Mayans. Hundreds of years ago, these ancient peoples used the water as a place for ritual ceremonies as well as a place of relaxation. The Iquil cenote has an opening at the top of the cave, letting in sunlight with vines running down into the water below. The SevenColored Earths. The name for this geological formation came from the subtle hues of different colors in their dirt, all a natural phenomenon. The SevenColored Earths is a huge drawing point for people to visit the CHamarel Plain in southwestern Mauritius. If you couldn't tell, those are actually sand dunes, all thrown together in a mess of colors like purple, green, red, yellow, and so forth. There's lots of iron and aluminum in the soil, which explains that whole array of colors. Salar de Uyuni, Earth's mirror. On the Altiplano of Bolivia exists the largest salt flat in the world. Salar de Uyuni measures to 4,086 square miles or 10,582 square kilometers in area and can be encountered not far from the crest of the Andes. Actually, Salar de Uyuni is in the highest plateau of the Andes. Here, it's surrounded by mountains, so there's nowhere for the lakes to really drain. The salt flat contains up to 70% of the lithium reserves in the world. When the sun shines on the salt flat just right, it looks like a huge mirror. The Valley of the Otters. You didn't wander onto the set of Alice in Wonderland. That is a real place, and it's called the Glendurgan Garden, located in Cornwall, England. The name Glendurgan came from the Cornish phrase for a deep valley of otters. Alfred Fox of the Quaker Fox family of Falmouth made plans for the garden and had it made between the 1820s and 1830s. The undeniably biggest attraction to the visitors is the cherry laurel maze, which was made in 1833. There also happens to be a bamboo jungle and 8-foot-tall agave buds. Water illusions. You know a place is special when the water is so clear, you have no idea what you're staring at when the shadow and reflections play tricks on your eyes. That's a common occurrence at Menorca. Here, there's many surreal and beautiful beaches to choose from to visit. What else are you supposed to say about a place that sees 300 days of sunshine every year? This list includes Cala Macarella, seen here. More secluded than the other beaches, Cala Macarella's waters are so clear that the shadows of the boats can be seen right at the bottom of the seafloor. Forest of Pillars. It became China's first national forest park in 1982 and has been stunning tourists since. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park measures to about 11,900 acres, part of the Wulingyan Scenic Area. The limestone cars came from years of physical erosion, making the distinct pillars of rock you see today. In 2016, they installed the park's Grand Canyon Glass Bridge, standing at a height of 300 meters and measures to 430 meters long, making it the longest pedestrian glass bridge in the world. A at the end of the world. Sitting at 2,600 meters above sea level over a huge drop of a mountain doesn't sound like the most leisurely thing to do, even if there's a cute little swing involved. It's known as the edge of the world, and from this swing in Ecuador, you get a great view of the mountains of Tungurahua volcano. It's part of the Casa de Arbol Park, which also has other swings and a zip line. Even though pictures make it look like it's right off the edge of the mountain, there's actually a bit of a steep slope right below. Still, you wouldn't want to fall. Where would you book your next plane ticket to? Leave a comment about your favorite place on this list. Before you leave, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click that subscribe button.